Yes, sir.
Very good afternoon to all. Thank you, AIOS. Thank you, Dr. Chitralekha, for inviting me to be a part of this instruction course. I'll be talking about role of anti-VEGFs in neovascular glaucoma. First of all, the first two talks have really made my job easier in terms of giving the background of using anti-VEGF. As we have been understanding, neovascular glaucoma is a kind of a severe intractable secondary glaucoma, the cause of which is predominantly coming from a hypoxia of the retina. Now, what it has been found that though inflammatory causes have also been reported with neovascular glaucoma, 97% of these cases are associated with retinal ischemia, and only 3% of cases of NVG are associated with inflammation without ischemia. And the common causes, as Dr. Swati pointed out, include the complete gamut of retinal vascular diseases, the diabetes, the vascular occlusion, the ocular ischemic syndrome, some rare causes such as post-radiation, the tumors of the eye, and less common post-surgery, post-inflammatory disorders such as Behçet's, BKH, and sympathetic ophthalmia. Also, neovascular glaucoma has been reported. Now, as it has been found out that the process starts with ischemia or hypoxia of the retina, which leads to formation of VEGF, which migrates into the anterior chamber, causing neovascularization of the angle in the iris, and then the subsequent effects of NVG. So herein, as I have highlighted out, an important factor here are the angiogenic factor. And it has been found that VEGF is the most important diffusible factor which has been found in these eyes with rubiosis and NVG. Though others have also been identified, VEGF is still the most predominant one responsible for these new vessels to grow on the iris and in the angle. So if VEGF is the main causative factor for neovascular glaucoma, anti-VEGFs definitely do have a role in the management. Let us try to see where do we place them. NVG actually, as Dr. Swati had again shown in her presentation, goes through stages. NVI, then you go, that's just the dubiosis, then you go into neovascular glaucoma with an open angle, and then neovascular glaucoma with an angle closure. Nicely represented in BJO, this statement which says that if in this particular disease I am able to remove the neovascular element, what I'm left with is an uncomplicated either an open angle or an angle closure problem once the new vessel element is gone. So any treatment which targets neovascularization and is able to remove it is effective in managing neovascular glaucoma. There are two important considerations here. Briefly already being touched upon, I'm just touching upon them again here. It's very important to have a very high index of suspicion in all these retinal vascular disorders because you can develop one NVI, NVA without even seeing any rise in IOP. So the first stage does not have any IOP rise. So normal IOP can have NVI, NVA. So you need to have a high index of suspicion. And number two, you can develop NVA without NVI. So in conditions which are known to cause neovascular glaucoma more predominantly like CRVO or HCRVO, it's important for one to do regular gonioscopy in these eyes so that you can pick them up early before the IOP rise starts to come in. Another important consideration I'll be showing with the help of a case here. This was a 68-year-old male patient who had diabetes and a drop in vision because of cataract, and 636, 660 was the vision, and he underwent a cataract surgery. Now, this was his fundus, and he underwent a cataract surgery somewhere. And during the cataract surgery, he had a rent, he had an anti-vitrectomy done, he had an IOL in the sulcus, and then he came back to us with neovascular glaucoma. So this case typically highlights 2 points. One, if you have a retinal vascular disorder, it's important to treat that first because already in these cases, the VEGF volume in the circulating eye is very high. And if we are not managing the underlying disease properly, we are going to land up with issues. Number two, the moment you have a breach in the barrier, which separates the anterior chamber and posterior chamber, you're inviting these angiogenic substances to move from the vitreous into the AC, and thereafter you're going to be responsible for angle neovascularization and iris neovascularization. Moving further, now let's talk about how anti-VEGFs are helpful for us. There are two major roles of anti-VEGFs in neovascular glaucoma. The first is preventive, then is in the management. When we talk about preventive, what we are actually talking about managing the underlying diseases which are responsible for neovascular glaucoma. So anti-VEGF is now the mainstay of treatment, whether it is managing diabetic retinopathy or it is vascular occlusion or ocular ischemic diseases. Uh, Anti-VEGFs form a major chunk of our treatment armamentarium as retina specialists. We use anti-VEGFs quite frequently in managing these conditions. Understanding the relative risk amongst diseases is important. So we have CRVO, which is the most common cause causing NVG, followed by HCRVOs and PDR, followed by branch vein occlusions, and then the arterial blocks. Though Chitralekha rightly pointed out, PRP is the treatment of choice when we are targeting uh, ischemic retina, especially if we can do a good laser in these eyes. But there are certain negatives of PRP wherein the role of anti-VEGF comes in. PRP is non-selective. We are damaging some bit of healthy tissue there. It causes quite a bit of permanent visual field loss. The regression of NVE with PRP is not immediate. It takes a few weeks for the NVE to regress, even NVI and NVA for that matter of fact. And most importantly, it can work only if the media is very clear. You can't do a PRP if the media is bad. So herein, the role of anti-VEGFs come in. There are multiple publications which have talked about the role of anti-VEGF in CRVO in preventing CRVO going into NVG. In PDR now, the protocol S therapy actually protocol S DRCR group is also showing that in PDR, anti-VEGF is actually reducing the PDR. It is converting PDR into more quieter NPDR form. It improves visual acuity. It is saying that you need not even do lasers immediately if you're treating these eyes with anti-VEGF. Though an expensive modality in terms of managing PDR, but yes, it does regress the disease progression. That is proven by these trials. Now coming to using anti-VEGF in management of NVG. Uh, See, the problem with NVG management that has come up is because of the severe complexity of this disease. Number two, the disease happens, the NVG patient generally onset is very abrupt because that early stages are missed. IOP rise is way beyond which we normally see in other forms of glaucoma. Because of which there is a lot of corneal edema, the commonly used anti-glaucoma drugs are really not that effective. Even the traditional anti-glaucoma surgeries are also difficult in these eyes because of the new vessels being there. There's a lot of risk of intraoperative bleeding. There's formation of fibrovascular membranes which go into this the trap openings and cause the failure of filtration surgeries. So the only option which gets left is using cyclocryo or cyclophotocoagulation, but the results of those are not very precise. So anti-VEGFs herein, they have a significant supportive role in IOP control. They either form in bevacizumab, ranibizumab, aflibercept, all have been found to be equally effective. They cause regression of the anterior and posterior segment neovascularization. You can give them intravitreally or intracamerally, and it takes about 24 to 48 hours for these injections to work in regressing the neovascularization. While with PRP, it may take up to 2 to 3 weeks. Also, they have a kind of an anti-inflammatory action. So the patient's pain levels and inflammation also goes down. But the problem is this regression is temporary and recurrence is possible. So one should keep that in mind. And at the first instance, the moment you get an opportunity, if you're able to save the eye with an anti-VEGF, you should add in PRP to have a more permanent result. A paper put out this very nice flowchart, and if you look at it, there are 2 points wherein anti-VEGF have come to play. So you start your patient with NVG, you reduce the IOP as much as possible, and you inject anti-VEGF. Injecting anti-VEGF at this stage, either you will be able to control the IOP. If you are able to control the cornea clears, you can go ahead with PRP. And if PRP is not possible, again, an anti-VEGF giving here is a good choice. So looking at this flowchart, there are 2 points wherein you can consider using anti-VEGF before you land up with taking a patient up for a surgery. And number of publications to support this particular aspect. This article from DMC Ophthalmology, they had about 39 or 44 eyes controlled on anti-VEGF treatment as short-term therapy. There's another paper from Westburt et al. And they also showed that they had a significant reduction of about 6.1 millimeter of mercury with patients who were treated with bevacizumab in NVG patients. Combination works better compared to PRP alone, as shown by this paper, wherein they found that the combination therapy had a more rapid decrease in IOP and more rapid regression compared to PRP alone. It acts as a useful adjunct to the trabeculectomy surgery. It reduces the risk of bleeding, improves visualization intraoperatively, and blood function is better maintained if you're combining anti-VEGF along with glaucoma surgery. Add to it vitrectomy, which Dr. Gupta is going to talk about, further improves your success rates in managing neovascular glaucoma. Another interesting aspect which is coming up now is using these anti-VEGF agents in the bleb at the end of a trabeculectomy to prevent fibrous proliferation and reduce the risk of bleb failure. In our institute, Dr. Harsh sir has been doing this in last, he has done about 5 to 7 cases, and he says the results are quite promising. So the take-home message here is anti-VEGF may not be the first line in management, but are definitely a very useful adjunct. They have a role both in NVG prevention and treatment. And in NVG, we need to have an aggressive approach to salvage vision, and wherein a rapidly acting agent like anti-VEGF therefore become an important key. Thank you.